Hi there, guys. How are we doing today? This is episode 4 of the R&C Leather Lounge, and this is our leather lounge. It is our leather couch that we are sat on, and obviously we also have R&C Growth Lab, which is a local initiative to help people get into employment, become entrepreneurs, and actually help them grow their business, mainly focusing on school students leaving Withensea High School. But that is actually open to other areas and other people if you so wish to. So today, what are we going to talk about today? The various things we're going to talk about today. But I am Richard and she is Carolyn, and that makes R&C. So there you go. So what are we talking about today? What is on the topic?
Talking about that transfer.
Yes.
So you'll notice it kind of really only shows up on paler leathers, light leathers. It does still happen on darker leathers, you just can't see it so much.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a really problem on your lighter coloured, your cream interiors, cream surfers, even handbags, if you think about it, or your light coloured leather jacket.
White disco trousers.
Really great disco trousers.
Yeah.
Leather?
Oh yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? Hey, we are into leather, so yeah, why not?
So yeah, a lot of it happens when, classic example, cream car seats, and you get in with your wet coat on, dark colour, then that's where the transfer happens. You might put your heated seats on.
Heated seats.
Heated seats go on, and you sat there. Gets cold when it's wet, but yeah, the transfer is there. You get out, you don't notice because you get out of the car. The next time you go to the car, you've got a pair of dark coloured legs on your cream seat. But there is ways to get rid of that.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do, but I think one of the things that people need to understand is obviously prevention is the best thing possible. And there's always this myth about, oh, it's not leather, it's got paint on it. Guys, leather's been painted for over 100 years. So let's put all this sort of mystical myth out there that you get from people saying you can't put protection cream on leather. It is one of the best things you can do because it's absolute bull that you're listening to. All this, but excuse the pun, bull, moo, whatever. It's absolute, codswallop that you've got all these people out there saying you can't do this, you can't do that. It's absolute fact. You can. You must protect your leather. Once you've got it protected, there's so many things you could do to prevent stains. Obviously, heated seats. It helps. It's going to create that dye transfer. Things like wax jackets, again, heated seats, you're going to transfer all that wax and that dye onto the seat. But if it's protected, it sits on the protected layer and it makes cleaning off so much easier. But there's one simple thing that you can do once you have got your leather protected, and I am going to say protected. Make sure it is protected properly. Do not put a ceramic on there because the ceramic inhibits breathability. And if it was a real ceramic that you're being sold in that bottle, it would be as hard as concrete because all of these ceramic companies tell you, listen, that's how hard it is. It's a hard rock shell. And look how see-through it is. Yeah, not on the head. So you've got to bear that in mind that it isn't a ceramic that's going on there. We have a polymer coating. The leather gut, that's exactly what this is. It's best to be sprayed on through like an airbrush. Put that on. Once obviously you've cleaned the leather, deep cleaned it properly, allowed it to fully dry, put the polymer coating on there, and then use the protection cream as a topper to go over the top. Or if you didn't want to go down that route, just use the protection cream on its own. You can use the protection cream or the leather protection spray. The leather protection spray has the polymer, a form of the polymer coating in it. It's not as obviously at full strength, but it does have some of the polymer coating in there. So again, it has a small amount of beeswax as well. And the two work quite well together. People may think, how the hell do you get beeswax to work with polymer coating? Because we formulated it properly and we're quite clever at what we do. So yeah. Now, I guess once you've got it protected, there's something you can do that you don't have to buy our leather cleaner. You don't have to buy our ink and stain remover. You don't have to buy our alcohol cleaner. Just make sure you buy our protection products. It's very, very simple. You don't have to buy the cleaners if you don't want to. If once you've cleaned it, yes, you're going to need a cleaner to do that. But thereafter, maintaining it is one of the most simplest things in the world. And you do not have to go out there and buy all these phenomenal products to do that if you have it protected. A cloth. terry towel, bamboo cloth. What's it going to do?
Yep, you can just use a damp cloth. You can, as long as that protection is on there, we must stress that it has to be protected from the start. If it is, then it is so simple to remove dye transfer. If you get to it quick enough, within a couple of days, I mean, ideally do it straight.
Yeah, ideally you want to do it straight.
If you notice it, do it just a quick wipe with a damp cloth, not wet at all, just damp, and it'll disappear.
You're going to find you're going to take most of that off straight away because it's sat on the protective coated layer that you've got on the surface. And that's the important thing. The one thing people fail to do is everybody wants their car, boat, plane, whatever it is, to look really shiny. You can't see that while you're driving down the road, but yet you sit and wallow in your own muck and you don't want your interior to look clean. Why? I never get it. Yes, it's great to have a nice shiny car for all these people walking down the road to look at you and go, "Oh, that's a nice shiny car." Is that really an ego thing, or is that really a thing to protect? You've got to protect paint at the end of the day. So why are you not protecting the paint that's sat on the surface of your leather? Because you're protecting the paint that's sat on the surface of your car, whether it's metal or fiberglass or carbon fiber or whatever that may be. You're still protecting the paint from UV rays and everything else. This is more delicate than the paint sat on the surface of the exterior. So you must make sure that you do protect it. And it's amazing how many people don't. But just simply wiping down the surface with a damp cloth, as Carolyn has already stated, I would personally be doing that every single week without fail, whether that is a car seat, a couch at home, leather jacket, or even a handbag. You make sure you wipe that down with that damp cloth every single week. You are eliminating the possibility and the risks of anything ever staining your leather.
Yeah.
And if you felt like you wanted to top it up, just give it a quick go over with the leather protection cream. It's a fantastic product, and you can just put the leather protection cream on there and protect it over. It's the easiest and simplest way around doing it. It's so simple and easy to do. Or if you want to put another coat of the leather protection spray on there. But again, you don't need to overload it with those. With the polymer coatings, you only really need to apply, especially with the leather guard, one very thin, fine coating over the surface. Everything to do with our business, it is unlike any others out there in the market. Less is more. The less you use, the better the outcome is going to be. All of our competitors will tell you, use more, use more. No, you don't. Even with our competing products, do not use more. Use less. You will find you will get a much better protection with whatever product you are using. It is better to use less than it is to use more, because the more you use, the quicker they actually break down. So you're being told a complete false set of circumstances there that is just leading you into buying more products. And that's not what we're about as a company or an organization or as a movement. We want you to buy the products properly, whether they're from us or another company, but use less, because you'll find the protection is better than what you're getting at the moment. I mean, there's so many things, juice stains, anything like that, really. Again, it is down to wiping down the surface. Just wipe it down. That's all you have to do. Wipe down, keep it clean. That's it. You're going to stop all that dye transfer coming through, whether it's handbags, jackets, or whatever it is.
Yeah, it does. Let's talk a little bit about those people that have got the dye transfer and it wasn't protected. It's too late. It's happened. So let's deal with how you then would try and get that dye transfer off if it hasn't been protected. We'll touch on that just really quickly. So try a normal leather cleaner first of all. If you've got leather, if you've got vinyl or anything else, you can use a vinyl cleaner.
No magic eraser.
No magic eraser.
No APC.
No scrub pads.
No scrub pads. No steam cleaning.
No. So start with a leather cleaner first of all. Have a little go with that. Not too much friction, because your friction causes heat, causes damage. So don't scrub too hard. If it's going to remove it, it'll remove it pretty quickly. If it doesn't,
as long as you're protected,
yes, move on to something stronger if you can't see any difference happening with the leather cleaner. So we would then go to
good old faithful ink and stain remover.
The ink and stain remover. So the key to using this is very sparingly, and don't use it on the areas that have not got the dye transfer on or the pen mark on or whatever it is you're trying to get off. You can use it on a cotton bud and you spread it inwards to the stain. So don't put it on the side of a cloth and just do a big you're just going to spread it out because the moisture will creep along and the stain will just it might fade, but it'll get bigger. So work from the outside of the stain into the middle and have a go with that one. Usually successful-ish, but once you've used this, you do need to re-protect on top. Might need clear coat.
Obviously, the cotton bud, just so that people know, for those overseas, a lot of people tips. So there you go. Another little note on the ink and stain remover there. I just want to sort of expand upon that, what Pamela's told you. Brilliant information that she's given you there. But I would say with that, when you're sort of going over with the cotton bud Q-tip, obviously, like she said, use the other end to draw back over it again. But what you don't want to do is if you've got it on a cloth and you're sort of wiping that around in a circular motion, like you said, exactly, it's going to spread it around. Now, if your leather is over 3 years old, you most likely will not actually have any clear coat left on the surface. So at that point, it is very, very important that you do use a protection cream because the paint becomes absorbent, whereas the clear coat is fully waterproof. This is where people get the wrong information about not using protection creams on leather. Yes, you should, and it's important that you do. From the beginning and after 3 years, you can use protection creams because obviously the more protection cream you put on there, the longer it's going to keep that clear coat on the surface, which means it could last 5, 6, 7 years. Now, obviously, after 3 years, you can reapply the clear coat, top sealer, on there to give you that brand new 3 year coating again if you wanted to. But I just wanted to sort of explain that a little bit further. And the thing is, when you're using the ink and stain remover, what you may find, and again, a lot of people don't really understand what this is when you're sort of using it on the surface and you're rubbing over like this on the surface, or whatever you're doing, circular motion, up and down, straight line, whatever it may be. A lot of people are like, I sometimes get the surface, or even when they're cleaning, why has it gone sticky and tacky? The reason why it's gone sticky and tacky is because what's happening is the clear coat that's on the surface is either being broken down or already has broken down, and it's just sort of breaking down the balance of that clear coat that's sat on the surface, and it's making it go sticky because it's trying to remove it. So you have to just bear that in mind. That's what that is. If that does happen, immediately stop. Stop immediately. Dry it with a hairdryer. That resets that clear coating that's sat on the surface or the paint that's sat on the surface. The key to stain removal is to remove the clear coat because that's where the ink and stain is going to be in most cases. And then you're left with the paint and you can reapply your clear coat. So dry it with a hairdryer. Then you would swap back to maybe the leather cleaner again. Or you would maybe go over to somebody even stronger after that. It's very, very simple. So you could go to even stronger products.
Yeah, if you're still not seeing any removal at all, the stain that's there, it's probably
Possibly, yeah. I mean,
if the stain has sunk right in, it's really, really hard to get it back out. But after the ink and stain, you could try our alcohol cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
You might find that that's going to start to remove colour. Just go really careful with it first of all. Like Richard said, you can, if it's tacky, keep your fingers in there. And if it is going tacky, you can dry it off and try again. You can do that multiple times, but please, please, please be really careful. It will start to remove colour eventually, especially if you're wiping quite hard as well. There is option if you do remove colour. All is not lost. There is
obviously you're going to have to recolor it, but yeah. The other thing you can do as well, the leather prep. We haven't got it here, but the leather prep you can go to that as well. And people might think, "Crikey, that's a bit crazy, isn't it?" But the thing with our leather prep is it's actually a water-based stripper. It's unlike the acetones every single one of our competitors use, which is very, very damaging for you and your leather item because it dries it out completely. Obviously, leather is made with a slight acidic content to it, so you've got to make sure that you protect that and maintain that level at all times. Obviously, high strong solvents are going to soak into the pores, so they're going to get right in like this, and they're going to get down here into the bottom where the collagen fibers are, and it's going to dry it out, which is going to accelerate cracking, drying out, stiffness, hard, all that sort of blather. But the beauty of the leather prep is it's a waterborne, water-based ink and prep. So it's extremely environmentally friendly and it's safe for you as well. Now, you can go to that. But again, like with all of them, make sure you're constantly touching the surface when you're using them. If you feel that stickiness, stop, immediately dry, go back to another product. So it could be that you've had leather prep, you can dry it once it goes tacky, you can then go back to maybe leather cleaner, dry, go back to alcohol cleaner, dry it, go back to leather cleaner, and just keep going backwards and forwards until you eventually remove that stain. You might find that you do have to take off a microscopic coating of paint to get the stain shifted completely. In that case, if it hasn't gone through, simply re-lacquer. You got another 3-year coating on the surface. But obviously, if it has gone completely through, remove the rest of it, paint job. If you've got to go down to bare leather, leather primer, paint, because obviously, with leather that's dyed through, that's like a chromium tan, it's aniline dyed through. Then they've got a primer that sits on the surface. Then you've got a painted coating that sits on the top of that. Then you've got a clear coat lacquer. The clear coat lacquer is around about 5 The paint is around about 20 on an automotive leather. To put that into perspective, this sheet of paper, which we've told you before, is 100 microns. So you can understand exactly how thin the actual coating is on the surface. So you have to be very, very careful. So I think that's really covered everything that we were going to be talking about. It's a shorter one today. One thing we will say to you, though, guys, if you want to see these on our YouTube channel, we're putting these to member only. So they are going to member only. If you want to join in with this and be live and interactive with them as we're doing them, ask the questions for your business, please come along here and get onto these videos and join in the action with us. And if you want to see them, you are going to have to become a member of the YouTube channel to see them from now on. I am Richard from R&C.
I'm Carolyn.
And we are leatherrepaircompany.com. Thank you very much, guys, and see you around soon. Cheerio.